Oh, Pearson gets into the 95 of Folks. Here comes the caution.
Flag is dropped here at Daytona, and away go for the first time. Nicholas Morcel, Sean.
It looks like most get through unscathed. Look at that, there's Reed Gibson. A big move at the inside line of Dom's, possibly a little bit of contact.
Up now as we've got three wide action going through turns 1 and 2.
And they're underway. Eric Hahn takes a nice jump. Wilson hasn't let him go very far.
Nice to go out here for Circuit Spa Francorchamps. Alex Johnson's off to a brilliant start there.
Just how oddly shaped this one is. We saw in the background Eric Hahn go for a bit of a swing, and he's gone and he's over.
Smooth stuff. Cody Graham's the one-on-one up into second place. Alex Johnson 6/10 lead at the moment.
They're dicey up front. There's Andrew Kessel, Justin Sang.
They are ready to go. The lights are out, and away we go for the very first time here at Okayama International Circuit. Finley Fitzsimmons.
Good evening, race fans, and welcome back to the League Zero Racing Series, the premier Formula 3 iRacing League. We are at Watkins Glen for round 1 of Season 7. It's going to be a great one here at the American Grand Prix. Thank you as always to our fans, friends, and family. Tune in, supporting the drivers, supporting the league, as well as supporting your favorite broadcast group. Here we go. My name is James Eastwood, Team Goon Squad Broadcasting, bringing the action 1080p, 60 frames a second. And again, a big thanks to our friends over at LeagueZero.net, getting us on board for the season yet again, as it looks like qualifying just about wrapped up here for the day. And we're going to get things ready to go to start with our feature event, followed by the action-packed sprint race. Looks like qualifying's coming to a close. And let's go ahead and run through your starting order of the day. Starting on pole, Finley Fitzsimmons, the returning champion in the number 1 machine. Micah Barnett starting 2nd. Reed Gibson starting 3rd. Raymond Aguilar starting 4th. Nick Peterson starts 5th. Jaden Calloway starting 6th. Ryan Tebow starting 7th. Antonio Bianchi starting 8th. Alex Penn starting 9th. Michael Fairchild will be starting 10th here today. Gareth McAllister, the world-famous Australian, starts 11th. John Kasai starting 12th. Cycling it on back to Felipe Sarkis starting 13th. Peter Rettinger starts 14th. Xavier Zanave starting 15th. Norman King starts 16th. Eric Fox starting 17th. David Schmidt starting 18th. Addison Hoagie starting 19th. Jack Mundy will be starting 20th. And that will round out the grid here today. We're waiting for a few more drivers to make their way out onto the grid. Looks like the top 4 have yet to make their way out onto the circuit just quite yet. So still waiting for a few more drivers to make their way out onto the track here at Watkins Glen. Waiting on Fitzsimmons, Aguilar, Bianchi, Fairchild, McAllister. It could be getting a bit of a driver's meeting here. A last-second reminder of what some of the rules and stipulations are here at League Zero, since we are coming back after a brief intermission. Now, the only penalty coming into the season opener, Jack Mundy, the number 14 machine, he will be having to start from pit road, serving a penalty that carried over from last season. Still waiting on Raymond Aguilar to take the grid. And then we will be good to go. Going to be exciting to see what happens in turn 1 here at Watkins Glen. 20 drivers coming out for this season opener. Going to be a few nerves amongst the field. Looks like Aguilar will take the grid. And we wait for the timer since Mundy will not be taking the grid, already discussed. That will delay the start ever so slightly. And here we go, ladies and gentlemen. We get ready for the lights to come on. And away we go, the season opener here at League Zero, the American Grand Prix at Watkins Glen. Already we're seeing some 3-wide action. Looks like Micah Barnett going to try the outside line against Fitzsimmons. Fitzsimmons defends on the inside. Looks like everybody gets through turn 1 nice and easy as the field blast up the hill here at Watkins Glen. Reed Gibson makes an early move. We go a little bit further back. There's some side-by-side action. Looks like that's going to be Callaway, Peterson side-by-side, as well as a battle for the lead. Reed Gibson, Micah Barnett, Finley Fitzsimmons all in the fray. Ray Aguilar also in the mix here. Gibson's going to take over the lead. Interesting that we're running the classic layout, not running the chicane. And I believe that was Micah Barnett we saw get tousled around, falls back, but Gibson will hold on to the race lead here. But we've got problems elsewhere out on track. I saw David Schmidt with an off-track excursion that just kind of got worse. Grab a quick replay there of Schmidt, the number 54 machine, a newcomer here at League Zero. Just cooks it in way too deep on the brakes, and off he goes. It's still Gibson up front, Fitzsimmons second. Aguilar has worked his way to the final podium spot in that number 72. And it looks like the top 3, definitely a noticeable breakaway. Let's see if we can get a camera. Yeah, there we go. And Nick Peterson, the number 24. He's about 9/10 back from the top 3 and a freight train of drivers behind Peterson. Barney, our flagman, watches on, making sure everybody's well behaved here. I've got to say, starting our second lap, very impressed with the lack of carnage we're seeing for a season opener. Normally with pre-race jitters is where things get a bit exciting. Drivers have had a chance to cool off. Thankfully, it seems like a lot of drivers have been definitely practicing in the off-season. A good, looks like a 3-car battle for 6. That's Callaway, Penn, Tebow. Just ahead, that's Micah Barnett and Nick Peterson going briefly side by side, and ahead of them, you can see Fitzsimmons and Aguilar. Aguilar bringing the heat in the season opener. Didn't have what he was looking for in season 6 out of that number 72 machine, but good to see him back up at the front and kind of throwing the elbows out as he looks to the inside line of Fitzsimmons. Oh, Fitzsimmons way off in no man's land there. Will hold on to the position. And we have another crash report. This time it's Norman King. And that number 28. Is this a... Oh, looks like he got hard on the brakes to avoid a driver in front. And maybe just didn't have the downforce he was looking for. So King is going to have an uphill battle here. Great battles all across the track. You're now watching Peter Rettinger in the all-black 44 trying to battle against Eric Fox in the blue and white 33 machine. Micah Barnett clicks off the fastest lap of the race that time by. Now the fuel window is going to open up around lap 12. And things are starting to tighten up here. Micah Barnett has found himself in a battle for podium contention. Tucked in squarely behind Aguilar as we go 3 wide. Aguilar, Fitzsimmons, Barnett all battling for second. This is going to give Gibson a 2.5 second breakaway up at the front. And just like that, Aguilar now finds himself back in 4th. Another great battle. Callaway, Peterson, Alex Penn joining the party. And the all-yellow number 30 machine. Ooh, easy there as they are wheel to wheel. Coming up the hill, a brief straight and a sharp diving right-hander. Oh, Alex Penn has issues though. The number 30 finds himself pointing the wrong direction, hops out of the way. That's the off-camber left, I believe. Very easy to light up the tires there. Let's see what happens to Penn. There's Peterson to his inside. Oh, and just loses the back and around it goes. Thankfully the field able to slip through there. We check back in on race leader Reed Gibson, the number 11 machine. Gibson holds a 1.4 second gap on the rest of the field. Another battle for second between Barnett and Fitzsimmons. Now we got to report David Schmidt comes down pit road. Now Gibson went back-to-back seasons finishing runner-up behind Fitzsimmons. I think he's going to come out with a little bit of a vengeance and try and maximize some points in the opening round. We check a little bit further back. That is Ryan Tebow, Michael Fairchild side by side. Tebow, the number 27 Canadian. Fairchild in the number 88. Great racing, great back and forth all across the circuit. And look at that, Gibson with a clean air. His last time by was a 1:36.85, fastest lap of the race. Will he improve on that? Not having to do too much racing at this point, just focus on his marks. He does not beat his lap time of 1:36.95. But look at that, Micah Barnett wicks up the pace, a 1:36.59. Clicking off the fastest lap so far this feature event. Nick Peterson, Ray Aguilar, and Antonio Bianchi, a 3-car battle for 5th. Aguilar and Bianchi, the 2 teammates, the matching purple and black machines. Nick Peterson, his teammate John Kasai, nowhere to be found. And he is about to go 3 wide. No, the 2 teammates drop back in formation. Ryan Tebow thinks about taking it 3 wide, looks to the inside apron. Nowhere to go, but Tebow does interject himself between the teammates of Bianchi and Aguilar. Bianchi trying to get around Peterson, not having too much luck though. As really all the racing's from about 5th place back. Oh, who was that? That was Bianchi. Oh, he just cleared out his teammate. Michael Fairchild also involved with that. Oh, this is not what Bianchi needed. So keep an eye out on that number 17 machine. Drifts very, very wide, catches the grass. Tries to keep it off a hot track. But there goes his teammate Aguilar, Michael Fairchild. Just terrible luck. And now Aguilar and Fairchild all the way back to around the 15th and 16th place spots, as they're all 3 wide with Peter Rettinger in that 44. Oh, this is precarious. Looks like, I think that's going to be Fairchild. Looks like he was going to be content tucking in behind Rettinger there for a moment, and then quickly pushed it back in a 3 wide situation. Kasai, the number 3 machine, putting the pressure on Felipe Sarkis. Kasai is up 2 spots, Sarkis up 4. Looks like Bianchi was able to recover well enough in that number 17 machine, as he's now tucked in behind McAllister in the 25. This will be the battle for 7th. Don't forget the top 12 will feature an inverted grid for the sprint race, as we're watching Zanave and Hoagie battle for that coveted 12th place position. Hoagie the 96, Zanave the number 12. Oh, and it looks like Hoagie's going to loop it in the same place Penn did. Oh, hold the brakes as the field trying to get around him. Fairchild and Aguilar still having a heated battle as well as they make their way out on the start-finish line straight. In the battle for what is 14th right now, you can also see Jack Mundy not too far behind the number 14. We know Mundy has good pace, but he did have to serve that pit road penalty for this feature event. And actually, we got a confirmation in the rulebook. He'll have to serve that in the sprint race as well. So very much an uphill battle. Bianchi takes a spot away from McAllister. McAllister tries to fire back. Hard on the brakes behind that number 17 machine. Oh, and we've got more problems for Fairchild, as he is taking an off-track excursion. Let's see what happens. The number 88. Does he get a little bit of help here? It's tough. I think that was Hoagie there was contact with, but tough to place any fault there. And John Kasai stepping out the back end as well, trying to get the drive to get around Sarkis, his number 4 machine. Fairchild comes down pit road. And a really good battle for 9th here going on. That's Sarkis, Kasai, and Fox running 9th, 10th, and 11th. Up front, Fitzsimmons has been closing the gap to Reed Gibson, now down to about 9/10 between those two drivers. We check in on Bianchi. Bianchi battling with McAllister and that number 25. Schmidt rolls out of pit road. Looks like he was in there for about 6 minutes getting some repairs done. As a reminder to the fans at home, there are no tows allowed here at League Zero. If you take a tow back to pit road, you are out for that race. Now, you could still come back for the sprint race following this feature, but when every point matters in a championship, you gotta try and stay out there and maximize where you can. We're focusing on Reed Gibson, race leader, running with runners-up racing. Again, for Reed, the runner-up the last 2 seasons here in the championship. Well, these drivers getting so incredibly close to the wall at the start-finish line. Barnett keeping the pressure on Fitzsimmons. I wonder if they're trying to leapfrog a little bit, see if they can catch up to Gibson. It'll be interesting to see there. Barnett hops out of the draft. They have closed the gap down to about 7/10. Looks like Barnett will take over the second place spot. Fitzsimmons hops right back in behind him, trying to utilize that draft. Mundy will join Fairchild on pit road. Go a little bit further back, the battle for ninth. It's still Kasai, Fox, and Sarkis putting on a great show here as we hinted some 3-wide action. Kasai has to run a very wide line there. That might allow Eric Fox in the 33 to secure that 9th place spot. Looks like he will do so for the time being. But Sarkis wants to get right back there in the mix as well. Fairchild leaves pit road as well as Mundy. Barnett and Fitzsimmons still battling for second. This will allow Gibson to extend that gap back to about 8/10. Looks like Barnett builds up about a half-second advantage over Fitzsimmons and gains a little bit of time on Gibson, down to about 7/10, separating first and second place drivers at this point. So two really good battles going out on track. The battle for second between Barnett and Fitzsimmons as they're side by side once more, narrowly avoiding contact. And Kasai and Sarkis still putting on a great show for 10th place as well. The Barnett's going to hold on to that second place position. Both drivers getting, Barnett heavily off track there, but I think Fitzsimmons had a check up as well with his own turn one track extension is what we're going to call that. Gibson's built the gap back up to about a second. He's got to be happy with Barnett and Fitzsimmons battling behind him. That's going to give him time just to keep his head down, focus on what he's doing, and enjoy the clean air. Thankfully, we have not seen any lap traffic for our race leaders yet. They may catch up to Fairchild, but by the time this is all said and done, especially with the top three drivers kind of working that draft together, or really, I should say, the second, third place driver, Barnett and Fitzsimmons, it's Gibson out there in effectively no man's land. That is what a 1 1/4 second gap looks like for race leader Gibson. Fitzsimmons and Barnett side by side. That can't be the fastest way to catch up to Gibson if that's the plan. Loving seeing these drivers take that carousel corner in tandem like that. Absolute great car control. Looks like Aguilar, and that's going to be Alex Penn having a brief battle for 14th. That gap was down to less than a 10th very, very briefly. Going to be interesting to see if Penn makes a move on Aguilar here, or maybe just kind of follows along, since Aguilar historically very, very quick. I do love Alex Penn's retro camel paint he's sporting in that number 30 machine. Penn, a single team solo injury plan on a part-time schedule here at League Zero, when his real-life racing shenanigans and classes do not interfere with his race program. Miller holds on to the spot. Meanwhile, still a battle for ninth going on. Eric Fox, Felipe Sarkis, separated by less than 2/10. Your top three is still Gibson, Fitzsimmons, Barnett, Jaden Calloway, Nick Peterson currently rounding out the top 5. The pit window officially open for these drivers. Historically, they will try and run these gas tanks to as close to empty as they possibly can, giving them the lightest cars possible. It is not uncommon to see some fast lap times very late into the race. Oh, we've got problems reported out on track. Peter Rettinger is going to take a tow back to pit road. He will be done and out of this. Let's get a look and see what happened to Rettinger in the all blacked out 44. This looks like the exact same corner. We've seen so many drivers throw it away here this evening. A little off camber, you unload the car. And if you're not very, oh, it hits a little bit of grass there. Absolutely slams the guardrail, and unfortunately Rettinger will not be returning out on track because, again, if you take a tow, you are done and out. So it looks like Rettinger will be the first driver taking that tow. Looks like 19 of the 20 entries still out on track. Eric Fox rolls out of pit road. Gibson still enjoying clean track. We're referencing the track map in the bottom right, not seeing any traffic ahead of our race leader. Meanwhile, Fitzsimmons and Barnett closing the gap back to about 0.8 of a second behind that race leader. We go back to the battle for 5th. Nick Peterson, Ryan Tebow separated by less than a 10th. Tebow all over the gearbox of Peterson, takes a big lunge to the inside line against the number 24. Will he have the corner speed? Yes, he will. Tebow taking over that 5th place spot in the 27. Peterson seems to be content just tucking in behind the all-white machine and maybe willing to follow along for just a little bit. A very clean move from Tebow. It's going to be his 2nd spot gain so far. Hard charger so far of the evening. We're going to get a camera pointed at him. The flying Frenchman, Xavier Zanave. He's up 4 positions, as well as Felipe Sarkis in the number 4, also up 4 spots from their original qualifying positions. Reed Gibson, your race leader, comes down pit road. Micah Barnett will follow suit. Fitzsimmons opts to stay out. He'll get credit for a lap led. Nick Peterson also coming down pit road. Well, it's going to be a busy pit road. Bianchi, McAllister, Kasai joining the drivers coming in at the start of lap 15. Looks like Fitzsimmons, Callaway, Tebow, Sarkis, Zanave. Your current top 5. Opt to stretch the run just a little bit longer here. So I'm going to be interested to see. I'm expecting around lap 1920 to see maybe another fastest lap of the race. I believe it's Fitzsimmons with a 136.67. So let's go and get that pulled up the left side of your screen. No, it's going to be Micah Barnett, a 136.585. Fastest lap of the race. Fitzsimmons and Callaway come down pit road. I would guess, yes, there we go. There's Ryan Tebow. We're going to pan the camera back to Reed Gibson's number 11 to see how this pit cycle shakes things up. It looks like relatively clean track ahead for Gibson as the top 4 drivers, now top 5 drivers, all on pit road. Gibson, after his last pit stop, going to put the hammer down and see if he can build up some sort of gap. There's Gibson rounding turn 1. Where's Fitzsimmons going to be? Right there in the fray. Once again, it's Fitzsimmons and Barnett side by side. Gibson holds on to his 8/10 advantage. Oh, we've got another crash report. This time it's Antonio Bianchi. Jack Mundy showing involved in an incident. Wondering if they're together. We're focused in on Bianchi, the number 17. Oh, tags the grass just as we saw Rettinger. No! Mundy does the same thing. Around goes Mundy. Absolute carnage here at Watkins Glen. Here's Eric Fox, John Kasai battling for 7th, not too far back. Sarkis and Zanave having their own battle for 9th place. The drivers are here to put on a show at Watkins Glen. We are well past the halfway mark of this main event. Gibson holding on to a 7/10 advantage over Fitzsimmons. Fitzsimmons a half second up over Barnett. Gibson may get a bit of a gift here if Barnett and Fitzsimmons start to battle intently again for 2nd. That'll give a further advantage to the race leader. But really good to see these drivers so close on pace here. Oh, I almost thought Gibson got a little bit loose there. He must have had some sort of bobble as Barnett and Fitzsimmons closed the gap to about a less than a half second behind your race leader. Is Fitzsimmons going to stay in the draft? Maybe try and work with Barnett to pull themselves up to Gibson. There's also lap traffic not too far ahead. No lap traffic. That was Addison Hoagie comes down pit road. And oh, here we go. Less than a half second separating the top 3 drivers. You can just see Callaway in the 37, not too incredibly far behind these top 3 drivers. But here we go. It's about to be a massive draft battle at Watkins Glen. Gibson tries to make that machine 3 cars wide, but he's got company with Fitzsimmons, the first to break out of line. Barnett looks like he's almost pushing Gibson there. Fitzsimmons not having the drive he's looking for, holds on to 3rd. Gibson and Barnett still 1 and 2. 6 laps left to go here at Watkins Glen for the season opener. Now, don't count out Jaden Calloway yet here in the 37 as well. He is 2.2 seconds back, but we've seen how much Barnett and Fitzsimmons have slowed the pace against each other when they start battling. And oh, what just happened there? Micah Barnett off into the guardrail. Calloway might be gifted a podium here. What happened? One more time. I think Barnett may have caught a little bit of grass there. I was trying to get a different camera angle queued up on that 59. Does he push wide? Oh, yes, just catches the left side tires in the grass. And a very hard impact. Unfortunately, Barnett takes a tow. He will be done and out of this event. Fitzsimmons didn't really lose too much time here behind Gibson. So that will, if things keep going the way they're going, that's just going to leave these two drivers to battle for the lead. Calloway way back, 2.3 seconds back from Gibson as it stands. And these are definitely the two closest drivers out on track. Looks like 15 of our 20 entries still remain. As you're on board, Finley Fitzsimmons currently running second behind Gibson. Last time by, Fitzsimmons was just over a tenth faster than your race leader. Oh! Gibson just spins it! Gibson has thrown it away, the race lead! Calloway moves up to second, Ryan Tebow in third. Gibson takes a tow back to pit road. He is done and out of this thing. Gibson just doesn't have any luck but bad luck. As we're focused in on the number 11 machine, this is almost identical, I think, to what we saw Barnett do. Just a little bit of grass, just enough to ruin the dreams. And the runners-up racing number 11 careens around with a massive impact. Drifts across the track. Thankfully, Calloway was able to get through. But now, ladies and gentlemen, this is Finley Fitzsimmons' race to lose. I can't believe the bad luck of both Barnett and Gibson. It's going to be interesting to see, does Fitzsimmons, with suddenly a lot less competition around him, maybe just kind of take it easy at this point and back it off slightly. Last time by a 1:37.38. Let's going to be interested to see what his next lap time is. Still holds a 2.4 second advantage over Calloway. Man, Fitzsimmons, I wonder if he's more nervous now after watching some of his main competition have those solo car incidents. Looks like Antonio Bianchi's going to roll back out on track. Out on track after 6.5 minutes. I heard a little bit of what sounded like contact there with Fitzsimmons, and even I got a little bit nervous up here in the booth. Pan a little bit further back, we have a battle for 8th. Xavier Zanave, the number 12, versus Alex Penn in the 30. Oh, Penn almost has a moment there as well. I wonder if the tires are starting to fall off drastically for these drivers. Just a few short laps left to go. And your current top three is Fitzsimmons, Calloway, and Tebow. Looks like Zanave gets a little bit better drive, builds up that gap to about a second over Penn. Zanave has his head down. He's focusing on Felipe Sarkis. But let's pan over to Eric Fox, our new hard charger, the 33, up 12 positions, now currently running 5th out on track. And relatively clean track all around, Fox. He's got about 11.5 second deficit to Peterson, who runs in 4th. About 1.6 seconds over Kasai in 6th. And just a few laps left to go here at Watkins Glen for Fitzsimmons, that number 1. He's been losing a little bit of time to Callaway. Callaway gained about 1/10.5 last time by, as it does look like Fitzsimmons has backed off record-setting pace just ever so slightly. Wonder if maybe he's trying to conserve some tires here after all the other incidents we've seen. Does have a little bit of traffic ahead with Bianchi running 17th. The drivers will get the blue flag in plenty of time to realize what's coming up behind them. Got the camera pointed over at Callaway in that 37. That's what 2.1 seconds looks like that he needs to find to catch up to Fitzsimmons. You can see Tebow way in the back, 4.1 seconds behind. Oh, David Schmidt involved in an incident. Doesn't look like too much damage on that 54, so he's going to get it fired back up and rolling forward. Now, I'm expecting Callaway to drive the wheels off that 37 machine. He can see a possible win ahead. Fitzsimmons last time by a 137.75 compared to Callaway a 137.59. Let's see what it updates to for Fitzsimmons. A 137.48, so he's picked it up ever so slightly. Callaway a 137.64. I think Fitzsimmons is just kind of in maintenance mode at this point, not wanting to push too hard, especially approaching traffic. I believe he may catch up to Bianchi into the carousel. You can see the purple and black number 17 machine in the foreground with Callaway in the background. Callaway having a great race though, up 4 positions. For Callaway, at first it seemed like a podium was going to be slightly out of reach, and then things quickly started going his way. The white flag will come out this time by. McAllister has to come down pit road for a second time. And Fitzsimmons getting very, very close to the grass there. Oh, that looked like, I think that was David Schmidt having an issue in the left-hander. Thankfully, no worries for Fitzsimmons, as the white flag will come out here at Watkins Glen, the opening feature event of the season. 1 lap left to go. It's Fitzsimmons, Callaway, Tebow, 1, 2, 3. Addison Hoagie currently sitting 12th in the 96, up 7 spots. That will put him in the pole position for the inverted grid for the sprint race. Looked like Bianchi was almost hopping out of the way there for a brief moment, realizing Fitzsimmons maybe wasn't going to catch up in time. No, does a good job hopping off to driver's left. But Fitzsimmons will not get held up by traffic here. Callaway doing something right, gaining almost 2-3 tenths on the race leader, but it's going to be a little bit too little too late here, barring some sort of incident for Fitzsimmons. Fitzsimmons gets ready to navigate the last couple of corners here at Watkins Glen. And Fitzsimmons will pick up the opening win, starting the season off strong. Jaden Calloway will bring home the second, and Ryan Tebow will finish third. A little bit further back, we had a late race incident here. Looks like it's going to be between Zanave and, oh, there's Alex Penn looping it ahead. And Zanave just nowhere to go. Both drivers with heavy damage will try and limp it home here, salvaging some points. We're going to try and get the top three drivers up here to victory lane to tell us about how their race went. We'll have a very brief intermission while we get ready for the action-packed sprint race, where it's going to be half the laps, twice the action. So we've got Callaway. We're still waiting on Tebow and Fitzsimmons. Fitzsimmons enjoying the moment here, burning it down, starting the season off strong. So we're still waiting for our drivers. We've got Ryan Tebow. So we can get this thing started here. Up first, join us from the third place spot in the number 27, Ryan Tebow. Welcome back to the top three in what was a wild way to start this season. You're very quiet, Ryan. Oh, very, very quiet. Ryan, almost sounds like you're getting picked up through a webcam and not a microphone.
You hear me now, James?
Yeah, much better. There we go.
Okay, sorry, the mic's still going through my headset.
I got you, Ryan. Tell us about that race. I mean, what a wild one to start things off here.
Yeah, no, it was good times. Yeah, just the normal strategy, try and survive, and battled with Nick a little bit, and somehow had pace to stay up there. It was nice.
Yeah, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but from seasons past, this seems like it's had some of the closest racing all across the field here in that feature event. I mean, didn't matter if it was for first or 14th. It seemed like there was side-by-side action everywhere you looked.
Yeah, the field's definitely tightening up for sure. I know for me with having access to the Garage 61 and the telemetry, it's really helped a lot with my pace. So I'm thinking everyone's kind of tightening up, a little bit more practice.
Well, Ryan, I mean, it's the first feature of the event and went cleaner than we were expecting. What are you expecting for the sprint race where we have all these drivers trying to barrel into turn one with an inverted top 12 grid?
I'd say the usual carnage, James. I'm just going to try and stay out of it and survive and finish the race and get some points on the board.
Well, awesome. Ryan, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there, but I said, Brian, it's always a pleasure talking to you. Car's looking great. And before we let you go, who do you want to give a shout out to that helped make this third place possible?
Definitely shout out to my parents who watch every race. You, James, your broadcasts are amazing, and Antonio for putting on this league for the last 7 seasons, and all the great guys in the league too. It's a lot of fun.
Very well said, Ryan. Best of luck in the sprint, and hope to have you back up here soon.
For sure. Thanks, James.
Thank you, sir.
Bye.
That was Ryan Tebow bringing it home in third. Up next, the number 37 machine, Jaden Calloway. Jaden, it seemed like at first you're going to be fortunate to get a third. Next thing you know, there's a lot of fast drivers you're blitzing past.
Yeah, it was. I was just trying to stay consistent. I knew I was going to get good points, but they both ended up making the same mistake in the same spot. So managed to get a couple freebies.
Well, Jaden, from your point of view, why are we seeing so many mistakes? Is it different tire wear than seasons past? Because we saw a lot of self-spins, especially in some of the off-camber corners here at Watkins Glen.
Yeah, I'm not sure. It's stuff happens. So I don't think it's anything specific. I think it's just racing.
Well, awesome. Very well said. And Jaden, we've seen you start in the top spot for the sprint race before. Now you're going to be squarely in the meat grinder. What's the plan going into this one to try and kind of execute the same strategy and keep things clean and looking good for you?
Yeah, keep my nose clean, gain a few positions, and establish some track position.
Awesome. Jaden, always a pleasure talking to you. Great to have you up here. Who do you want to give a shout to that helped you bring home a second?
As always, my friends and family, and it's actually my grandmother's birthday today, so this P2 was dedicated to her.
Well, what's her name, Jaden?
May Calloway.
Well, this one goes out to May. Jaden, best of luck in the sprint, and good to have you back, my friend.
Thank you. Good to be back.
That was Jaden Calloway bringing home a second for his grandmother, May. Very cool. And up next, the man, the myth, the legend, Finley Fitzsimmons. Man, what a way to start this season off strong.
Yeah, it's a good result. No, it was a great race from start to finish, or at least until, yeah, it was really close because basically it was just a draft battle because, we all, like, no matter how much pace we had on each other, you just couldn't pull away from that draft because it was so strong. If you were within 5/10, you're straight back up to them at the end of the straight. So it was just a case of sticking in the draft and, making a move on the next lap.
Now, speaking of that draft, when we still had Gibson and I think it was Barnett up there in the fray, I mean, were you guys communicating at all saying, hey, let's try and catch back up to Gibson, or was it every man for himself?
We weren't communicating, but I think we did have a common idea that, Reed was a little bit ahead. I didn't want to lose too much time, so I didn't make any silly moves into corners where we'd lose too much time, and we were just leaving it until the straights and kind of leapfrogging each other. But no, there wasn't any communication. That was just what ended up happening. But yeah, I guess it worked out quite well because we managed to get that gap down.
Yeah, I mean, a great way to start the season. It wasn't until round 2 of last season that you picked up the first win and then a bit of a dry spell. So it's got to be a bit of confidence inspiring to start this series off well and pick up a win the opening feature.
Yeah, no, it's definitely good to have a good start to the season. As you mentioned, the past 2 seasons we didn't get off to a brilliant start. But some good points to build upon, and hopefully we can keep this up for the sprint race.
Awesome. Looking forward to the sprint. I know that's going to be exciting for everybody, drivers, fans, broadcaster alike. But Finley, before we let you go, who do you want to give a shout to that helped you bring home this massive first win of the season?
Massive thanks to Gareth as well for being the number 1 teammate. Gave me a mega tow during qualifying. He gave me about 4/10 off it. It was crazy. Great work from him, for our new sponsors, Aurora Carly and Rich Energy as well. They're paying good money. What else? Thanks for Antonio for running the league as well, and the stewards. And of course, thanks to you, James, for the broadcast booth.
Always a pleasure on my end. Finley, great to have you back up here, and good luck and best of luck in the sprint race to follow.
Yeah, thank you, James. See ya.
Thank you, sir. That was Finley Fitzsimmons bringing it home with the opening win of the season, the feature event. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more action for the sprint race. Half the laps, twice the action here at League Zero. All right, race fans, we are back. The final race of the evening to start this season off right. It's the sprint race. We're going to go 12 laps with an inverted top 12 grid. And this is going to be a good one. Your top 12, Addison Hoagie started in the hot spot. Raymond Aguilar starting second. Norman King starts third. Alex Penn starting fourth. Xavier Zanave starting fifth. Felipe Sarkis starting sixth. John Kasai starts seventh. Eric Fox starting eighth. Nick Peterson starts ninth. Ryan Tebow starting 10th. Jaden Calloway starts 11th. And Finley Fitzsimmons will round out that inverted top 12 grid. Let's get ready for action. As we're waiting for Hoagie, Schmidt, and Mundy to make their way. Actually, Mundy's not going to make his way out onto the grid. He'll be starting from pit road once more. Here we go. Keep an eye out on Hoagie in that top spot. It's going to be an exciting turn one. And the lights are off. The green flag flies. Away we go. The first sprint race of the season. Aguilar is going to try and work the outside line. No such luck. Alex Penn, number 30 machine, way off track there. As the field scatters through turn one, Hoagie and Aguilar are going to be side by side charging up the hill. Hoagie's going to hold on to it here. Here comes Aguilar, shoots to the left. It's going to be a drag race. Again, there's no chicane on this layout, so it's going to be exciting. Eric Fox with an off-track adventure, able to hold on to it. What a busy turn this is going to be. There goes John Kasai. Just gets absolutely obliterated there. Looks like the rest of the field able to work themselves out and get through. Hoagie holds on to the race lead. As it briefly showed Bianchi the race lead, that's got to be some sort of error. Where did Bianchi... Somehow it shows Bianchi in the race lead. That can't possibly be right. Bianchi down pit road. I'm not quite sure what just happened there. Something has gone wrong with live timing and scoring as now John Kasai takes a tow back to pit road. What happened to Bianchi? Did Bianchi skip the carousel, I wonder? That's the only thing I could possibly think of. Hoagie holds on to the race lead. Aguilar second. Xavier Zanave has worked his way up into third. The field's scattering around behind. I believe I spotted, yes, that's Alex Penn, the number 30, who was off track in one. Finley Fitzsimmons has a hornet's nest behind him. That's Gibson, Sarkis, Tebow, Barnett, Fairchild. Penn all in the fray here as everybody's trying to work that draft. Pick up as many spots as they can as the battle for the lead squarely underway. It's Aguilar versus Hoagie. Hoagie's going to have the inside line here, but does Aguilar carry a little bit more corner speed as he flicks it into the left-hander? It looks like Aguilar will take over the race lead here. So yes, Aguilar secures the lead. Let's take a little bit further back. So now it is Gibson in the meat grinder. He's got Barnett and Sarkis who are side by side right behind him. Ryan Tebow, Michael Fairchild, Alex Penn also in the fray here. Aguilar up front has quickly put about a half-second gap over Hoagie. Let's go back up where things are heating up for the final podium spot. Zanave and Fitzsimmons are a little bit of side-by-side work. There's Gibson as well, number 11. Aguilar with clean air up ahead, clicks off a 137.35. He's feeling good here in the opening laps of Watkins Glen in this sprint race. Bianchi rolls out of pit road. Man, look at this. You could throw a blanket over these 4 drivers. It's Zanave, Gibson, Fitzsimmons, Barnett. Somebody had a big sin. That looked like that was Barnett trying to find a way around Gibson. Gibson's going to hold on to the 3rd place spot here. Let's see if we can get I think I know the camera angle we're going for. We're on board with Xavier Zanave, the number 12. And that is an absolutely frantic battle for 3rd just ahead of them. I wonder if Zanave's maybe hanging back a little bit, saying, let's let these guys kind of work this thing out. Oh, as I say that, oh, a huge hit for Zanave, gets into Micah Barnett. It's a massive crash here at Watkins Glen. Where's the caution as drivers careening across the field? I've never seen such a violent crash. There's no safety car being deployed. They're still crashing here. If there was ever a time for a safety car, that was it. Just absolute violence. Let's get this one queued up. Get ready, buckle up. This is going to be a good one. There is Zanave and Barnett, and then the field's just going to come barreling in here. I mean, words just don't do it justice, ladies and gentlemen. I think that was Kasai. No, that was Peterson having the ride of his life. The absolute hang time on that number 24 machine. This will 100% be on the highlight reel, ladies and gentlemen. And that has very quickly dwindled the list of drivers still out on track. As Addison Hoagie finding some pace here. As reeled back in Aguilar. Clicks off a 137.14 last time by. And if I'm looking at this right, we've only got 12 of 20 cars out on track. A little bit further back, the battle for 5th. Ryan Tebow has company from Felipe Sarkis. But really, at this point, most of the drivers just kind of had to focus on finishing. And I think everybody's going to be in the points at this point if you can just make it to the checkered. Cannot believe the carnage that we have witnessed so far. We always said the sprint race is half the laps, twice the action. Boy, does it come true here at the Glen. Just nowhere for drivers to go. And here we go, the battle for the lead. Hoagie feeling good here, trying to put the pressure on Aguilar. A little bit wider entry to get better drive out, but it looks like Aguilar is going to hold on to it here. Reed Gibson, last time by, clicked off on 137 flat. That's going to be the new fastest lap of the race. Aguilar has built up a 6/10 advantage over Hoagie. Hoagie has about a 3-second margin over Reed Gibson in 3rd. Fitzsimmons sits in 4th, Tebow in 5th. Interesting to see. Hoagie, I don't believe, ran a full season in season 6. But judging by the pace of the Canadian 96 driver, off to a good start here in 7. Now drivers swoop very, very wide out of turn 1 here at Watkins Glen to try and get the best drive possible up the hill. Hoagie a half-second back and closing on Aguilar. Has he caught the draft of that 72 machine? I think he has, as he is rapidly gaining some time. 3/10 and closing fast. This could be the patch to the lead. Hoagie looks to the outside line. Aguilar defends. Meanwhile, Reed Gibson and Fitzsimmons side by side. Fitzsimmons trying to run that inside line. Gibson's going to be set up a little bit better for the next corner. We've been hinting at a battle for the lead, also hinting at a battle for third. Fitzsimmons and Gibson have been so equally matched in seasons past. Fitzsimmons still trying to, Pander Tebow by accident. Fitzsimmons still trying to put the pressure on Gibson. 3/10 separating the two. The crossed green and white flags get pulled back in as we are past the halfway mark of this final sprint race of the evening to really start the season off strong. Hoagie's got a big run challenging Aguilar. Not quite able to do anything with it. There's a little bit of lap traffic there for Gibson and Fitzsimmons. Looks like Gibson gets through. Fitzsimmons not quite yet. I think that may be Rettinger in the 44. This is definitely going to cost Fitzsimmons a little bit of time. Well done, and a big thumbs up to Rettinger there, hopping out of the way for the race leaders. Oh, Aguilar off track. Addison Hoagie makes the pass for the lead. Hoagie a little bit off his preferred line there, slides it around. Aguilar still in the mix. Aguilar's going to look to the inside line, not afraid of showing a little bit of aggressiveness, but now it's Hoagie's turn to return the favor. Throws the block on Aguilar. Coming out on the start-finish line straight, they get ready to start lap 8. And we have very much got a race underway here, ladies and gentlemen. 4 laps left to go. It's Addison Hoagie, Raymond Aguilar, Reed Gibson, Finley Fitzsimmons, Ryan Tebow, your current top 5. Oh, Aguilar looked like he backed out of it slightly. They're not wanting to make a pass just quite yet. Wants to catch the draft squarely at that 96. But there we go. Aguilar hops out of formation as they go wheel to wheel, almost avoiding. Oh, how are they? I thought there was contact there. Hoagie needs to breathe here, prevent the red mist from kind of interrupting the racecraft. A second place finish would be massive for that 96 machine. Although I gotta tell you, as a racer, having that possible first win ahead of you can kind of make you drive a little bit off kilter. I think if Aguilar thinks he has the pace here, he's gonna try and hammer down that 72. Aguilar's built up about a 4/10 advantage over over Hoagie. But I think if Hoagie can just stay in here, he has a very good chance of working that draft back against that number 72. Let's see what happens here as they charge up the hill. All the while, Gibson and Fitzsimmons have been closing the gap. They're only about a second and a half back from Hoagie at this point. Oh, is Hoagie going to hop out of formation here? Yes, a late dive to the inside line. I don't think he's going to have quite the room he was looking for. Swings back wide, but it's going to have to settle in behind Aguilar here. Very late on the brakes. Hoagie's trying any spot he can find to try and see if there's an opening against Aguilar. And again, this is slowing the pace down. Gibson and Fitzsimmons gaining a 10th here, a 10th there on the top two. But it's going to be 2 laps left to go once Aguilar and Hoagie cross the line. I'm not sure there's going to be enough time here for Gibson and Fitzsimmons to make that happen. But you can see them not too far back there. This could still very well end up being a 4-car battle for the lead by the time it's all said and done. You can also just see Ryan Tebow, excuse me. That was, I believe, Rettinger lap traffic, 5th on track there. Can't quite get a visual of Ryan Tebow in that number 27, but Tebow's got to be happy running 5th, up 5 spots. A good points night for him in that 27 machine. Hoagie a half-second back here from Aguilar. Meanwhile, Fitzsimmons and Gibson still having their own battle for 3rd. I wonder if Fitzsimmons, well, I was going to say, is he going to play it safe, tuck in and behind Gibson? But they are still losing ground to the top 2 drivers. Oh, side by side goes Fitzsimmons and Gibson. Fitzsimmons takes over the 3rd place spot, but now they're about 1.9 seconds back from what could very likely be the battle for the lead. Speaking of battles, there's Jack Money David Schmidt put on a great show for 9th. Money making that his 10th position gain despite having to start from pit road. As we check back in on Aguilar, who has Hoagie still breathing down his neck. But Fitzsimmons and Gibson have closed the gap now to about 1 second. We've got 13 of the 20 drivers who started still out on track. White flag will be out next time by. And 2 still very distinct battles. Really 3 battles. You got Aguilar and Hoagie battling for 1st, Fitzsimmons, Gibson battling for 3rd, as well as Schmidt and Mundy having a very heated battle for 9th. Aguilar and Hoagie side by side for the race lead. Hoagie's going to try the left side of the track. And Hoagie's going to make the pass for the lead stick. Did he show his cards too early, though, as the white flag will be out next time by. Gibson's taken back over the 3rd place position. Oh, and the strike continues for race leader Addison. Hoagie is spun it around. Hoagie falls back to 6th, 7th. Oh, absolutely gut-wrenching. I think Hoagie, once he gets the consistency figured out, he's going to be a front runner here at League Zero. But for now, it's a lot of usual suspects. Aguilar, Gibson, Fitzsimmons battling for the race lead. Tebow and Sarkis have moved up to 4th and 5th. Hoagie is going to unfortunately take a tow back to pit road, done and out of this one. Here we go. We're on the final lap. It's anybody's guess who's going to bring it home. Aguilar, Gibson, side by side. Fitzsimmons watching from about 3 car lengths back. man, Aguilar and Gibson really leaning on each other here as they make contact. I think this might be why Fitzsimmons is kind of hanging back a little bit. He's seen the aggressiveness out of these top two. He's already had a great points night so far. Maybe just kind of watching this show unfold and settling for the points. Is anybody going to set up something wild here? Gibson holds on to the race lead. Aguilar takes a shot to the inside line, nowhere to go. Fitzsimmons really narrows up that corner. Almost had the pass for second there. Oh, just a couple of corners left here at Watkins Glen. Oh, Fitzsimmons and Aguilar side by side. Gibson comes out uncontested. Gibson's going to pick up the win here. And Reed Gibson, a bit of a redemption arc, brings home the win. Raymond Aguilar second, and Finley Fitzsimmons locks up a third. There will be no post-race burnout celebrations on this one. As we wait to get our top three drivers up here into the waiting room. I gotta catch my breath up here in the broadcast booth. What a wild night here, ladies and gentlemen. We're still waiting on our top three drivers of Gibson, Aguilar, and Fitzsimmons to make their way up to the interview room. We've got Gibson waiting on Aguilar and Fitzsimmons. Looks like we've got just about everybody. So we'll start things off with Finley Fitzsimmons, the number one machine, bringing home a third. What a great points evening. And correct me if I'm wrong, you saw the wheel-to-wheel action ahead of you and said, you know what, third might be a good call on this one.
Yeah, I knew I'd still have the points, but I was tempted. I tried to stick my nose in, and Raymond had some great defending coming into the last corner, but that was definitely the most fun I've ever had at this track, and I think everyone on the service, actually, that was brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't matter if we were watching first or 14th. There was, well, not 14th in the sprint race because I don't think that many people finished. But regardless, all the drivers out on track, just absolutely having clean racing all the way around and great wheel-to-wheel action. And Finley, from seasons past, I don't think we would have seen you settle for third, but are you starting to be more championship-oriented now late into the season here at League Zero?
I suppose you could say it that way, yeah. I used to take it race by race because I never used to have the consistency over a whole season to fight for a championship, but over recent sort of seasons I've been able to hone that in, and now that it's possible to fight for a championship, I suppose, yeah, I'm taking it.
Well, it seems like it's working out well for you. And I mean, did you expect that race to be a little bit more carnage filled, or was that just what you were thinking coming into this one?
I was thinking there might be a wreck, but lucky me, it happened behind me, so didn't have to worry about that. I heard Gareth was entailed in that, but he just pinned it to the floor and got through it. So yeah, good for him. But no, that was a quite a massive shunt I saw in my rearview mirror. But,
yeah, got a little wild out there. But Finley, a great job all the way around, a first and a third. Massive points for you and the team. Before I let you go and celebrate, who do you want to give a shout out to?
Gareth for my for being a beautiful teammate, finishing in P6. And once again, James for you for putting on a great broadcast, and I'll watch it back right now as soon as I jump down to the lounge. But Yeah, of course. Thank you for Antonio and everyone for running the league. It's been a great round one, and yeah, hopefully have many more races like this.
Yeah, I hope so as well. Finley, always a pleasure, and congratulations on a great night, my friend.
Thank you, James. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Up next, we got Ray Aguilar, the number 72 machine. Welcome back to the podium. The number 72 at second place. Great racing amongst you guys in the top three there in the sprint.
Yeah, there's a lot of weird toe stuff tonight that just keeps everybody bundled up. It's funny. You think on such a fast track you have time to separate out, but you don't. Everybody's equalized by this toe.
Yeah, I mean, it seemed like you'd gain 5-6 tenths over Hoagie, and then next thing you know, you guys are wheel to wheel through the sweeping right-hander. I mean, pretty much every lap. And now I know you have excellent racecraft. Were you kind of happy to see him come around before the white flag was out and kind of put you back in that second place position?
No, I was not happy about that at all. I think I could have had the lead covered off if I could have just gotten back past him on the straight. But that spin slowed me up enough to where it caught up Finley and Reed to me. But they were quicker tonight anyway, so it was going to happen at some point.
Well, still, I'd say things went pretty well. So I believe started off second, held on to it. Great racing wheel to wheel. And, I mean, was there much contact amongst you top three? It looked like there's a couple moments from the broadcast point of view. There was a little bit of rubbing going on, but it's always hard to tell from our camera angles.
Yeah. We on the last lap, I probably had no less than 4 or 5 actual contacts with both Reed and Finley. Yeah, I'm just looking again at the board here. I tapped Reed twice. Tapped Finley twice. That was a nutty time.
Well, did
it look good on camera at least?
I was absolutely losing it up here in the booth. I mean, between the feature event and the sprint, it didn't matter if it was for first or 15th or 16th. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen so much good wheel-to-wheel racing in this series before.
Well, that was the goal. Was we wanted not wheel-to-wheel racing. We don't like that here, but the goal was to get you excited about the series again.
Yeah, it's good to be back up in the booth, Ray.
Yep.
Well, Ray,
so glad you are.
Oh, thank you, man. Couldn't do it without you guys, and a great finish in second. And before I let you go, who do you want to give a shout to that helped make it happen for you?
The Little Debbie number 72 Gorilla Glass Racing Machine did pretty good tonight with Avanti and hand-cooked tires on it, man. We're really cranking them out. We got a good car this season, a good package overall, and we're just happy to be here.
Well, hey, good to have you back. I hope to see you up here more this season, and congrats on a great second-place finish tonight.
Yep, thanks, James.
You, sir. That was Ray Aguilar bringing it home in second. But up next, the man, the myth, the legend, Reed Gibson, the number 11. Welcome back to the top spot. I mean, what a wild race.
Yeah, I like to keep it interesting. You got to put on a show every race.
Boy, did you guys. No snack time in that one, man. I mean, up 14 spots. You and Finley kind of batting for a third for the longest time. Next thing you know, it's a 3-car rodeo up there in the top spot.
Yeah, no, I mean, starting way in the back, had my Wheaties, had a little snack, had a beverage, and said, let's see what we can do on the old NASCAR track. So it all worked out. I think I drove a pretty clean race, didn't do anything too tremendously stupid, and it all worked out really well.
Yeah, good to have you back up here. And I mean, how much fun is that as a racer to have that type of racing when there's 3, 4, 5 you guys pretty matched on pace? The draft does help a little bit here at Watkins Glen, but I mean, just great, clean wheel-to-wheel racing. But for the most part, drivers you can trust.
Yeah, no, I mean, we were going back and looking through the highlights, and everyone was giving each other space, being respectful. Nothing too crazy. Like I said, I mean, you do got to shove it up the inside every now and then. But even in the back of the field, I typically am not in sub the rotation for the sprint race, but people were respectful. I saw good driving standards, so it's a good sign for the league that it's growing and people are enjoying it and learning.
Now, Reed, what's the plan for the rest of the season? Unfortunately, we saw you run a limited schedule last season. Are we going to be a full-time entry again here this time?
Pending any other life updates, I'm going to try to make it every week. I don't know how much practice I'm going to be able to put in the weeks and the time around because I just have a busier schedule than I used to. But I'll try to be here pretty much every week. Summer months are usually my off months because it's too hot to go to the real racetrack.
Yeah, this whole adulting thing kind of gets in the way of our virtual shenanigans, doesn't it?
Yeah, man, it sucks. I'm old now.
I feel your pain in more ways than one. But Reed, man, good to have you back up here, back in the top spot. We saw you up here a bunch in seasons past. Hopefully more to come this year. And you've got the privilege, the pleasure, the final send-offs of the night. Who do you want to give a shout to that helps make it happen for you?
Yeah, so just shout out to League Zero in general. I know we're running strong on another season here. Lots of people showing up. I encourage more people to come out and join, have fun. It's a really good series, and we'll see you guys next week.
Awesome, Reed. Always a pleasure, and hope to have you back soon, my friend. That was Reed Gibson bringing it home in the top spot for the sprint race. He was accompanied by Raymond Aguilar in second, and Finley Fitzsimmons bringing it home in third. On behalf of Team Goon Squad Broadcasting, my name has been James East, representing LeagueZero.net. Thank you all so much to our fans, friends, and family tuning in, supporting the league, supporting the drivers, supporting your favorite broadcaster. I look forward to having you all back, same time, same place, next week. Have a great night, everybody.